Air that dirty laundry here. Just kidding.
Often times I ignore things that are important.
Never decided to challenge Jeff Wiggle again.
Do you remember what you said?
What the fuck? What was the context of that?
It would probably be about how much of a fuckwit I am.
I have this incredible ability to forget like every single song that we've ever made.
I didn't have this on my notes to say, but I'm just going to say it real quick.
It's somewhat hard for me to comment on though because I'm so close to it right now.
To be completely honest, I still don't think I've told my parents.
Welcome to Unshut, a place where if at any point you feel like you need to shut the up, don't. Hey, Sanjay, can you hear me?
Hey man, yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, how are you doing?
I am good, thanks. 10 o'clock in the morning. This is greatest time of the day.
You're starting and I'm getting ready for bed right after this.
Right. What's the time over there?
It is 7 p.m.
7 p.m. And are you in
Austin,
LA?
Texas. Austin, Texas. So you're
Awesome.
about 15 hours ahead.
Oh gosh. Yeah, it's still Wednesday over there. Love time zones, eh?
I know, you're living in the future. It's the coolest thing ever.
Literally.
Totally. How's it going, Sam? Can you hear us?
Hey, hello. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Is my volume good appropriate level?
Yeah, it sounds
Or
good.
is it okay, sweet. I just want to turn this light off and see if the lighting's better.
And totally random before we start, even though we're already recording and starting, but is it Sanji or Sanji? How do we pronounce that? I don't want to fuck it up.
Sanji, you got it right first time. There we go.
Okay, awesome. Perfect.
I feel like that's better. Hey,
Yes,
Yeah.
without the
lighting-wise.
light in the back, totally.
It's a dark day here, so I was hoping that we would get enough light through the window, but yeah, it's good.
How far away are you guys from each other?
Right now, like maybe an hour and a half.
Yeah, I was wondering about the distance between you two and why you guys were joining in separate screens and not together in a room.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's 10 o'clock in the morning right now, so this is the situation. But
Very cool. It's all good. We make the best out of everything here, but I'm ready to get started if you guys are.
yeah, for sure.
Hell
Thanks for
yes.
having us on, by the way.
Yes, of course. Thank you guys for making the time for sure. I've been super excited to chat with you guys. The second I discovered your guys' music, I felt so fucking late to the party. I was like, where the fuck have I been living? Okay.
You're definitely not late to the party, like from a global perspective, that's for sure. You're still like an early days person, even considering everything. Yeah.
Okay, well, that makes me feel a little bit better for sure. Well, I definitely want to get started in talking about your guys' past just a little bit and how we came about music. And so I wanted to start off with you, Sanji. First instrument was an acoustic guitar that you got at 6 years old. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Do
How
you
did you
still
know
have
that?
that? Oh, I do my research.
Okay. Yeah, I still have it. It's sitting, oh, let me go grab it. 2 seconds. It's right here next to me in this cupboard, which I lives a really sad existence now. I'm just sitting like down here, but it was this little thing. It's like one of
Beautiful.
those small generic nylon string pieces of shit, but it got the job done.
Dude, I love that you still have it, and I've been dying to ask you about this guitar real quick. In an interview, you also talked about getting an electric guitar at 11, and in honor of it looking like John Mayer's signature, okay, this is how we're setting this shit off, okay? If you could learn and play a John Mayer original today, which one would it be?
Honestly, it's hard to go wrong with Neon. I think that's just like such a classic song, and it's such a crazy, just the way it's written is just insane. I love that song. I always will.
Hell yes, it's such a
Um,
good song.
That's the song that
yeah,
got the, you know, how there's that whole thing how like with TikTok and social media and stuff, old songs going viral again, like 10, 15 years after they came out or longer. That is an example of that, you know, because I remember a while ago, the entirety of like guitar TikTok was obsessed with trying to play that riff and it was
yeah,
just
yeah.
everywhere. But it's crazy that like a pop song that was like a pop hit has such an insane guitar riff in it, you know, because
Mm.
that's just so uncommon, especially in like the modern day.
And that's what
Yeah,
definitely makes it that John Mayer touch, you know? I love it.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Well, I wanted to
it's
ask
good
about
song.
your instrument, you know, your introduction to instruments, Sam. What was your first one?
It was, I definitely don't have it anymore. It was a it was like a three-quarter scale Strat copy that I got when I was probably fuck, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 years old. Because my dad is a musician as well. He's always played guitar. So pretty much as soon as I was old enough to hold one, I had one, you know. It would be cool to still have it. I still do have my first like proper full scale guitar, which is over there in the corner, which will take way too long to get out. But yeah, the first one was just a little 3/4 size Strat copy that I had for years, which
So
I was
sick.
obsessed with.
Now, with your dad being a musician, and if I'm not mistaken, I was reading somewhere that he, taught guitar lessons. Did that obviously, I mean, I feel like it did, but I have to ask, it had an influence in your music and you being introduced to like having a musical taste bud, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I think, I don't know, it's interesting because it's always just been a fundamental part of my life since before I can remember, you know. There's never been a time where I haven't been completely surrounded by it. And not just surrounded by it in a way where it's like being an audience member or being someone who is interested in music from a listening perspective, but fundamentally from a playing perspective. So I suppose it's unique in some ways but I do feel lucky about that because I feel like someone like Sanji or someone like anybody else in the band who weren't brought up with that as a default kind of presumption. I just imagine how much more difficult it would be to get into, you know, and especially more difficult in committing to it from like a career perspective or a lifestyle perspective. But I was lucky enough to kind of have that from the beginning, which was, yeah, I just find that to be lucky. But yeah, I mean, my dad for my entire childhood, with his career was just playing in a cover band, playing weddings and pubs and that sort of thing. So it was just always a part of my existence. Yeah.
No, for sure. And do you feel like, Sanji, can you relate to the idea that for some people, seeing this to being a career is so out of reach? I know for me personally, being a choreographer my entire life, I went straight into the entertainment industry and the performing arts right out of high school. But what about you? Were you introduced to this being a career path early on, or did you have to navigate how strange that felt, if that makes any sense?
Yeah, I definitely wasn't introduced to it. I guess me and Sam have almost opposite upbringings, and we kind of ended up in the same place. I grew up in a very traditional household, with migrant parents, and so I was introduced to guitar and the piano, classical, essentially, when I was really little, just as like an additional thing to learn alongside studying. It was mainly I was surrounded by musical people who were into bands when I was growing up at school and stuff. One of my first friends in primary school, his dad was actually in a cover band, and he was going, so naturally my friend was really into music and wanted to start a band, and that's kind of where I started being more interested in it and taking it more seriously. And then it just spiraled from there as I got older and started high school and met Sam, etc., etc. Once I got into high school, I kind of, I was very active in the music program and stuff. And that's when I knew that I really wanted to play guitar or be involved in music in some capacity. But yeah, it was definitely almost a polar opposite, I guess, of Sam's introduction to music.
Were you
Yeah.
afraid to say it out loud back then that you wanted to pursue music? Was that a fear?
To be completely honest, I still don't think I've told my parents. Um,
Wow.
obviously, they know about the band and everything that's going on, but yeah, I don't think I've actually verbalized it, if that says anything. But they would be very supportive, regardless, as long as, I'm happy ultimately.
No, and I appreciate you sharing that so much because I think that there are so many people out there who don't have the freedom to say that this is something that they want to pursue because of how often people perceive it as not a serious career. And a lot of people grow up in an environment where they're told, graduate high school, go to college, get a degree, get to work. This is not necessarily an option. And I think so many people are going to be able to relate to the fact that you had that environment that impacted you so much growing up, but here you are still basically going against the current of what you knew. I think it's so amazing. So thank you for sharing that for sure.
No, I appreciate it, of course.
Australia is very much, taking an alternate route in Australia is, I think, particularly unusual. It's particular just from a cultural perspective. I don't think people would necessarily identify that too violently, but as sort of like a cultural undercurrent of the way that mindset of the population is. It's very, very straight down the line, like what you just described, you know. It's kind of baked into the culture in a way that is kind of unique, especially in comparison to America. Like I remember, like it's always been a thing for us that it's like, fuck, if we could have been born like anywhere else in the Western world, this would have been so much easier or whatever for a multitude of reasons. But that one that you just touched on is particularly significant, I think.
Do you feel it changing? Do you feel that shift happening in Australia, or is it still a little bit far off from that?
It's still very much that, in my opinion. I don't know if you would have a different perspective on that, Sanji, just from a cultural Australia-based perspective, but doing anything artistic or doing anything against the grain is viewed as in a very kind of juvenile way. People view it as a cool thing to do for a little while, but then, of course, you know, it's time to get serious at some point. It's time to accept failure before you even try, in a sense.
I
I don't
I
see that
definitely
changing.
agree. And you see it all the time, I guess, I mean, Sam, I know we've spoken about this. You see it all the time in small talk with like various
Yeah,
acquaintances that you meet
yeah,
throughout life. How's that
yeah,
little band thing going? And all the,
yeah.
the way they speak about it is very, very interesting.
Well, if there's anyone that
We've
can
been
change their fucking mind, it's Pretty Bleak, okay?
well, we've been pretty lucky from like a social perspective that all of the people that we've been close to, like friends and people that are close to in our lives, they all take it very seriously. We've been lucky in that way. But yeah, I guess you know, you're at a family gathering and people ask you about stuff and it's like, oh yeah, you know, it's good. We're doing this, we're doing that. They're like, yeah, that's cool.
Well, I'm glad you guys have found that within your guys' groups. And I think that it says a lot
Yeah,
about what you guys are attracting. And I think that it says a lot because this is the energy you're putting out. So therefore, the universe is going to give that right back to you guys. And I think that finding that core group that's going to find this not so out of reach, that's going to make this feel like it is doable and there's nothing wrong with it, I think it says a lot about you guys. And so you got to hold on to those people close for sure.
yeah, for sure. We're very lucky in that way.
Yes, Sam, Pretty Bleak was inspired by a journal entry in 2019. You wrote, "It all seems pretty bleak." Has another journal entry inspired any of the songs that are out currently?
I think so, well, for sure. I mean, I probably not necessarily in as direct of a way as that, but I think like as the lyricist, it's like anything that's occurring subconsciously in your mind is always going to be the thing that is most violently represented in your lyrics, even if you aren't necessarily aware of that at any given point. It's funny because I don't write in a journal format particularly often. It does always seem to be the case that when I do, that stimulates something artistically in a subconscious way. Often, if I'm stuck at a certain point of the writing process for a song, oftentimes writing in a non-artistic format does a lot to stimulate and get past that block. It would be really tough to think of a specific example off the top of my head, but it's like whenever if I'm ever feel driven to write in a journalistic format, it's always because I'm catastrophizing. It's always because I'm at the lowest point of some kind of mental process, and I'm like, this is a last resort kind of exercise, I suppose. And that's, I suppose, in some ways, it acts as a some kind of therapeutic mechanism, which is obviously the point of it. But that's really helpful in terms of getting past a certain mental block and being able to translate that into a song format or into a lyrical format. Especially because it's like a lot of the time, I don't know, I have spoken to other people that are songwriters that have this same experience too, where it's like a lot of the time when you're writing lyrics, unless you're intently writing about something specific, you don't always know what you're talking about at the time when you're writing it, and that becomes clearer later on. And so I'm sure if I went back and read, you know, journal entries that were dated to a certain period of time where I was writing a certain song, in hindsight, everything would become really clear and obvious, you know.
No, for sure. It's like
Um,
the after processing thought for sure.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But
Dude, I love it.
I think it's an important part of it. Like I definitely neglect that part of the process a fair bit, but I have been kind of aware of its utility for a while, but oftentimes I ignore things that are important. But yeah, I think it's significant. Yeah.
Dude, I love it. I wanted to ask you, Sanji, if you were to write a journal entry today, what would you be writing about?
Great question. I don't journal. I never have. I don't think I ever will. If I were to write about something,
It's too confronting.
it is, yeah.
Air
I
that dirty
know.
laundry here. Just kidding.
When I analyze things, I like to look into the detail of what I'm observing in the world around me and kind of make comparisons of that. I just obviously I don't write it, I do it mentally. So I guess I would be writing about uh I actually had a thought once when I was on this walk at night a long time ago. I think I told you about this, Sam. And I was just walking, looking at the trees being illuminated by the light poles and how the light scatters across the top of the leaves and then creates this shadow underneath, and how it was kind of drawing, like I was drawing the parallel to how you see that kind of lighting in theater setups and stuff like that. And then I kind of went on this whole thing about set design and all that sort of just, I would probably, it would just be a stream of consciousness, long story short, based on what I'm looking at or observing at that current moment in time.
Dude, I feel like I see some filmmaking in your future for sure.
I don't think film is my forte, but I'm really into it. So maybe one day we should create a film, Sam.
Absolutely. You never
I
know.
have had that ambition for a long time because I've always been a huge Prince fan. Like Prince was like my first real like moment in being a music listener where I was like, this is just fucking crazy. I was really into his movies when I was younger, and just the concept of being a band or being a musician and but broaching multiple different media formats, making like an album and having a movie that goes along with it is something that's really appealing to me. And it's always been somewhat of a goal in my mind. It's like obviously we're a long way away from that right now, but it's always something that's simmering in the back of my mind. So I feel like it will be cool
Maybe
one
you're
day.
not so far away from it because maybe this was a sign of the universe to get started on that shit right now, you know? You never know.
Well, I'm always thinking about it. I'm always thinking about it. It's definitely getting closer to me, at least trying to come up with a basic sort of outline of it, what it would be. Yeah, because we've always treated our every time we've made music videos or whatever, we've always treated it in a very from kind of a cinematic perspective. And I think it would be cool to translate that from and our visual style in videos, translating that from solely a music context into a narrative context as well. Yeah, it's a goal for sure at some
Dude,
point.
for sure. Well, I'm definitely going to consider this a sign from the universe. This was your sign. Let's start brainstorming this as soon as we get off this call, okay? I wanted to
So
bring
ego.
up the fact that you were talking about in a previous interview about how Pretty Bleak had a different meaning to you today versus before, if that makes sense. But something I wanted to kind of break that up a little bit differently is to ask you, is there a Pretty Bleak song for you, Sanji? I'll start with you first, that means something completely different to you today, like a song that's
Um,
taken a completely different turn for a meaning, if that makes any sense.
yeah. Um, in terms of like meaning directly of the song, like the narrative content of it, I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. But in terms of like the existence of a song and what it means, yeah, probably the first single we released as Pretty Bleak, Jawline. I think that's gone through a very significant change from, the moment it was first written and demoed to the recording process to now, about how I feel about it, or what kind of meaning I take about it and what its existence means. I guess to sum that up, I saw it as originally it was a really big single that I was very excited about and signified beginnings of a new era. And now I see it as like probably one of the most valuable learning experiences that we've ever had in terms of the production of a song. So that would probably be my answer.
Dude, that is such a good answer. What about you, Sam?
I do agree with that because that song went through a huge just our mindset about it over the years. Because obviously it's the first song we released and it's gone through a lot of different conceptual things. But I suppose in terms of from a songwriting meaning perspective, oh man, let me just bring up our Spotify for a second because I have this incredible ability to forget like every single song that we've ever made when I have to think about it. But I think the thing that about this concept that's really interesting to me is that because I write the lyrics, all the songs are detailing or describing a certain point in time in my life psychologically and physically, you know? So it's like if when I look back at all of the first five or six songs, I remember when like the period of time when I was writing all of those songs, I was just such a fundamentally different person than what I am now. And it's more so being able to look back at yourself and at how your brain was working and what your emotional state was. In a way, I feel like completely disconnected from it to an extent. Like it's still obviously something that I've done and the way that I felt at the time, but it's kind of indistinguishable to my life now in a lot of ways, in pretty much every way. That's probably the most interesting thing about it, because I feel like that's a unique experience. Because like
Could
it's
also be
just
the
for
reason
someone
why
who
you don't remember the names. Just kidding.
maybe, but it's like there is something that's kind of privileged about it though too, because I feel like a lot for people who don't have an artistic outlet, the closest thing that they could feel to that is by looking at old photos or old videos or something, and you can see what was happening. You can try to remember how you felt, but when I'm listening to that old stuff or thinking about it, I get to see and read precisely what I was feeling in a way that's like further contextualized by distance and time and personal evolution. I was a very angry, dissatisfied, and antisocial person back then. And that comes through in the music to me in ways that obviously it probably doesn't to other people. But yeah, all of that stuff, some of it can be really difficult to listen to, and think about.
No, it totally makes a lot of sense for sure.
I don't mind it. A lot of the old stuff I don't I wish that we'd never released in some ways, but people like it.
Well, that's probably the reason why they connect to it so much because it's so personal to you. It wasn't just a
Mm,
song for the sake of having a song, it was actually personal. So I think that
yeah.
that answer, in a way, almost says a lot about your writing and how vulnerable it is. And Sanji, I'm actually glad that you mentioned something along the lines about, the first song and the rebrand with the new name, because something I wanted to do with you guys, this is going to be a speed round. I want to talk about your previous band names real quick. I'll give you the band name and I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to mind. And it could be anything. Don't try to make sense of it, just the first thing that comes
Yeah.
to mind. Are you guys ready?
Sanji, you can go first.
Perfect. That's exactly who I had going first anyway. So the first one is going to be Infamous Minorities.
Absent. I wasn't in Infamous Minorities. So.
Yeah, yeah.
So absent. I love it. The one I
Yeah.
have for you, Sam, is Half the Sky.
Misguided.
Beautiful.
Misguided. It's the first,
Sanji,
that
the
was the
last
first
one
thing.
I have is The Avenue.
Transformation or learning or it's something along those lines.
Perfect. Well, listen, I had to kind of wiggle you guys out of talking music real quick because I want to shoot the shit with you guys a little bit before we talk about the new song and everything else that's coming. So, Sam, in a previous interview, you said, I don't eat anymore. I sustain myself through sheer spite alone. Do you recall this by any
What?
chance?
No. What the fuck? What was the context of that?
It was some interview someone did with you via magazine or something. It was like written.
Fuck, I have no idea what the hell I was talking about there. That must have been a while ago because I'm fundamentally opposed to the concept of spite in general. Like now, I think that's disgusting. So, yeah, I disavow that statement completely.
Well, we're definitely going to talk about one more comment you made in that interview, so hopefully I don't make you blush
Oh
too hard.
God.
But if this is your food, what would you be serving for dessert? What's your mood? What's the dessert?
If I'm thinking about that previous answer, it would have to be nothing because I said that I don't eat anymore.
Perfect. Just a plate with fucking air on it, okay?
Yeah, probably. I suppose so. I mean, yeah. I'd love to know what I was talking about. Like, do you remember what the question was that I was answering?
Yeah, it was what was your favorite food?
Oh, really? Oh, shit. Oh,
Well, I can't wait
that's
to hear your
ridiculous.
reaction or see your reaction for this next one because you were also asked, what was your favorite drink? Do you remember what you said?
No, I don't remember this. I don't remember this interview at all.
Oh my gosh. And I just want a disclaimer. I am not doing this to try to like bring up anything negative or anything. I just
No,
thought
no,
this
I
was
think it's
funny as
funny.
fuck, okay?
Yeah, yeah,
Well, your answer, okay, your answer was piss flavored beer. That's what you said.
yeah.
So, my follow-up question with this, okay? Back then, if this was your signature drink, Sam, are we serving it hot or are we serving it cold?
Oh, I feel like you'd have to have it cold, at least just to try to mitigate that terrible flavor. I
To
don't
try
know
to make it
what
better.
yeah, I mean, I think warm would just be adding insult to injury, and that's in that situation. Warm also implies that it's recently like come out of someone. I don't have any interest in that right there. At least put it in the fridge for a little bit, you know.
Well,
But
all I gotta
that's
say is
crazy.
that I am definitely going to make sure that I use my resources. I don't even know if resources is the right word. I'm kind of blanking out right now because I'm blushing myself, but I will be adding screenshots of those interviews on this episode so that you guys can see I didn't make any
Yeah.
of this shit up, okay?
No, I don't doubt that at all. I believe it completely. I just wish I could remember what the why I said that.
Well, I mean, I definitely had to also bring up some stuff from you, Sanji. So I was fascinated by some of your Instagram captions. I'm going to read them to you, and I want you to tell me what a song inspired by that caption would be. Are you ready?
Oh God. Yeah, go for it.
All right, the first one I have is Your Worst Nightmares.
It would probably be about how much of a fuckwit I am, I think.
Which is funny you say that because I feel like that's kind of a theme for the next caption I have. But I want to switch up the way I'm asking this. I want to ask you for the next one, I want you to give me the type of genre this title would be in, okay? Your mom's crush.
It's got to be like an Aussie pub rock song in some
Mm.
weird capacity.
Perfect. What about a Polaroid of your dad?
Oh, that's the Aussie pub rock song.
Perfect. My favorite post about you on Instagram, by the way, was you in purple talking about the Wiggles, okay?
Yeah, at Great Escape, yeah. I should wear that shirt more. I can see it right now, but I don't think I've worn it in like 3 years. It's just a Jeff Wiggle purple t-shirt. You remember the one? Yeah,
Yeah, I
Which
yeah,
is
remember.
funny because it
classic.
was from like 3 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was probably the last time I wore that. I talked the talk on Instagram and then subsequently never decided to challenge Jeff Wiggle again.
He's so fucking
He's
hot. I
oh,
just
he's
gotta
an
say
old
that.
man.
Yeah.
He would be an old man now, I'm sure. I mean, really, I feel like you probably would have him covered if you had to battle it out for
Or
who
maybe I
should
was
wear
thinking of
what.
the newer purple one. Not maybe Jeff is the
Uh,
older original Wiggles. I'm talking about the new purple one. He's the hot one.
oh, okay. Right. Yeah, yeah. No,
Right. I don't even know what the new Wiggles look. I haven't seen them
neither do
in.
I.
Oh, well, if you want to go down that rabbit hole, it'll definitely fuck up your algorithm because he is definitely a heartthrob, okay? Just saying.
Right.
I'm gonna,
Well,
I'm
thank
gonna
you
look
guys
him
so
up right
much for
after this.
shooting this shit with me. I love kind of throwing my guests for a little bit of a loop just to kind of loosen things up a little bit. But something I was fascinated to ask you, Sam, real quick. I read somewhere that you like to read books. Is there a common ground between getting lost in a book and getting lost in the music that you write?
Yeah, definitely. My favorite book that I've ever read is Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky. And the reason why it was been my favorite so far is because of how fundamentally personal it felt to me. I related to that book and the concepts that it is covering and describing in a way that's like that I've probably never related to anything else before. And I was not prepared for it at all. I didn't expect that when I started it, but to this day it's incredible. Can't really describe the extent of that. And so there's a huge parallel between that because when I'm writing music and what I'm trying to do when I'm writing is be as honest and as transparent and sincere that I can be about my own experiences and hopefully making that translatable to people in a way that they will relate to it from their own perspective as well. That's what that book and a lot of books that I've read have done for me. So there's a huge parallel parallel there. It's essentially doing the same thing, just a different format. The Outsider, by Albert Camus, I think it is, did the same thing. Incredible book. I love books that are written from somebody's perspective, but it's just describing things in a more universal, philosophical way, but it's written from a personal perspective through a personal lens. And I suppose that's always what I'm trying to do musically as well.
Well, I can't speak for everyone, but I can tell you that as a listener, you are 100% doing that. All of you guys. I feel like the way
Thank
that
you.
you guys are coming together to put out this music, it is a sound that transports you. And one thing that I really like about your guys' music, I didn't have this on my notes to say, but I'm just going to say it real quick, is that I get to choose how I want that song to transport me. And if that's probably not going to make a lot of sense to everyone, but for me personally, I can listen to the same song. And if I want to feel a little bit in touch with my emotions, I can. Or if I want to get
Mm.
lost in the music and maybe feel a little bit more upbeat, I get to make that choice. And your guys' music fucking did that for me, which is why I had to email you guys and be like, please come on my show.
Yeah, thank you. It's a very nice thing to hear. Yeah, I appreciate that a lot because I really like that idea actually that you can take the same song or the same artist's music or whatever and decide how you want to engage with it and have the option of how you want to engage with it and that be your own choice. I think that's a really interesting idea that I hadn't thought of before. But yeah, I
Yes.
appreciate that a lot. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, of course. And I wanted to ask you, Sanji, so we obviously know that books is a way that Sam likes to escape a little bit, right? What would be yours? How do you choose to escape anything that you're going through in life if it's not with music?
I think at least probably the healthiest escape is spending a lot of time in nature. I also spend a lot of time alone because it just gives me, I mean, that is the best way for me to escape is getting out and kind of feeling like I'm in or just daydreaming about an alternate reality, an escape, whilst in a substantially different physical location, such as like a national park or something like that. I do that a lot around this part, and I live in like a regional area, so there's lots of like little pockets I can go to. But yeah, I think that's probably the best one
Well, I
for
love that
me.
you're also talking about being in solitude. I feel like that's a very powerful thing. Not a lot of people can handle being alone in their thoughts and in their head. And the more I hear you talk, the more I am so fascinated that you don't journal and write yourself. I am like mind blown.
Yeah, it's been recommended to me a lot by lots of people, but I find the act of not I think it's the act of the pen to paper because I'm too much of a modernist. I mean, I could theoretically just type it out, but I don't know.
Some
Yeah, I
people do
think a
that.
lot of us in the yeah, I guess some people do.
Well, listen, if
Um,
and when you become a New York Times bestseller, don't forget about me, okay?
I gotcha.
I wanted to ask you guys about the music that's getting ready to continue to come out that you're going to be rolling out in 2026. What can listeners expect in regards to more visuals, the sound? How is this so different from everything else that you've put out in the past? What are you the most excited for? And I know that's a heavy loaded question. Whoever wants to take it can take it, but what can we expect in 2026?
I think so far, the stuff we've been writing and the stuff we've been demoing, there is a distinct sort of stylistic evolution, in my opinion. I feel like a lot of our older stuff was very like heavily processed, very like big, sort of extravagant sounding. And I feel like this new stuff, this new like era that we're in, is coming from far more of a minimalist approach, I think, in terms of production and songwriting, trying to do more with less in a way, which is something that I've been interested in for a while. It's somewhat hard for me to comment on though, because I'm so close to it right now. Like I'm in the middle of a big writing phase at the moment, and it's often hard to see it in a more macro context while you're in the middle of it. I think as a band, we've always kind of had the approach that we don't want to do the same thing more than once. You know, we always want every song we write and every song we release, we want it to be doing something unique in comparison to everything else that we've done. And it's often hard to know whether you're doing that at the time. But I feel like the next song we've got coming out is, I'm kind of nervous about it in a way. Like I'm kind of nervous about how people will interpret it, or whether they'll like it in the way that they've liked our older music, just because it does take a bit of a deviation. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that, Sanji?
I think my thoughts are very similar. It's interesting because the DNA is the same.
It's obviously
And
us. You know?
yeah, yeah, and it sounds like us. But yeah, like Sam said, I'm also nervous about this new single. It's not like we've changed, like we fucking changed into a completely different band. It still sounds, there's still a certain element that you're going to be able to expect, but it is different from other stuff we've done. But I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes.
I feel like the fact that it's making you guys a little bit nervous, to me, it's the indicator that it's meant to go out into the universe because you said something about doing more with less. And the
Yeah.
way I interpret that is that now you're putting yourself in a position where you're almost cornered to make and to create. And I feel like that to me says a lot about your band. Not only are you guys putting yourselves in situations where you have to push yourself lyrically, but you're also doing it sonically. And the only thing that comes to mind is that that's how you break through in this industry because you're not sitting
Mm.
in what hit 5 years ago. You're pushing that boundary, and that is
Yeah.
so fucking vulnerable. Not a lot of artists can do that. They'll stick to whatever hits, and they hope that that's just, that just creates longevity. But the reality of it is that it's those risky moments as a band that define you as a band, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I think you're completely right. That's an excellent way to describe it. And it's like all of our favorite artists are, characterized by exactly what you just described. That's like what we would hope to be the case. That's what we're always aiming for. It still begets some anxiety though when you're in the middle of doing that and you're trying to do that and that's your goal. There's always that feeling in the back of your mind that's like, maybe I'm just gonna fuck everything up here, and maybe people aren't gonna like it. Maybe it's gonna flop completely, and then what? But that's just a natural part of it. But that anxiety, much in the same way that anxiety in any part of life can't be a dissuasive factor. It just can't be. In anything, like, you need to identify the fact that you're feeling anxious or uncertain about a certain path that you're going to take, but do it with that feeling anyway. You can't show fear in this context, I feel. So yeah, I appreciate you saying that though. It's a great analysis. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys sharing all of this because I think that to me, it just speaks a lot of volumes about the trajectory of this band. And I say this a lot to a lot of guests whenever they're a little bit hesitant or nervous that something's not going to hit. I always like to remind them, picture your favorite artists, the A-listers, the biggest celebrities, or the biggest musicians in your life. Tell me that their flop era is not considered iconic years later. So even when
Yeah.
something doesn't necessarily hit, eventually it will hit. The only difference is, are you going to stop? And if the answer is no, then that's how you know that eventually that archived music that made you so fucking nervous is the music that's going to make a huge part of the history of the music that you're making. So I'm super stoked for you guys. I am so grateful that you guys allowed me the time to have you guys on the show because this was definitely a big one for me because I haven't felt this way about music in a really long time with having that open interpretation for me to decide how I want to listen to it. So I was
Mm.
so fucking nervous to even write you guys, okay?
No, we appreciate it a lot. Like, we're always interested in coming on shows like this or doing interviews and whatever, and talking about it with people that feel like passionate about what we're doing. That's the greatest part of this entire journey that we're on anyway. So we very much appreciate it.
Amazing. Well, thank you guys again so much. Lastly, please tell everyone where to find you guys, where to stream the music, all of the channels, all those good details.
You can, I mean, the most reliable thing is Google Pretty Bleak. I think that should bring up
Yeah.
everything.
We've hit the career milestone of when you Google that,
Yeah.
we come up.
Finally.
But yeah,
But
our
yeah,
main thing
everything
is
should
Instagram,
be,
though. I think Instagram or TikTok, Pretty Bleak Band
yeah,
is where, if you want to find anything, that's where you'll find it.
yeah.
Amazing.
Well,
Thank you guys again so much.
No, thank you. Thanks
thank
for
you so
having us.
much.
Yes, we'll
Cheers for
definitely
having
be
me.
in touch, and I cannot wait to keep in touch with you guys. And I cannot wait for the book that's going to make you a New York Times bestseller. Sam, I cannot wait for you to continue to put yourself in situations where you're nervous as fuck writing. I just see so many good things happening. So thank you guys again so much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Of course, we'll
Cheers.
be in touch. Take care.
For sure.
Hey, if you've made it this far, don't forget to follow the socials on the screen or in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. See you next week.